Hey everybody, it's Dave Juno, the Meniere's Disease Warrior. How you all doing? I'm doing pretty good. I had another good day today. But the reason why I want to make this video is the other day somebody asked a question in a group about sodium. And somebody got on there and really fed them some bad information. And they were being pretty arrogant about it. And the thing is that, first off, doctors don't make money from telling you to use a low salt diet or a low sodium diet. If you have too much sodium, even if you don't have Meniere's disease, your body builds up fluid. Not necessarily water, but fluid. What's in your cochlears? Fluid. What happens if you get too much fluid in your cochlear? It ruptures, all that fluid mixes together, and you get vertigo. And you get hearing loss because it gets onto the nerve, right? So that's why they tell you keep a low salt diet. But some people aren't triggered by salt. Okay, there are other reasons for it. They're vertigo. So not everybody has a trigger of salt. Some of it's stress, I should say. Some of it is the barometric pressure. Is what I meant to say. Barometric pressure. Some of it's stress. Other food additives like coffee, smoking cigarettes, which can be a double whammy because it's the nicotine and the 375 chemicals that are carcinogens that will build up fluid in your head anyways, in your sinuses, because, let's face it, your body's not meant to handle cigarette smoke. Okay? So, or cigar smoke, pipe smoke, even weed, to be honest with you. Even though weed does help you, it still affects your lungs, even if you don't think it does. And your sinuses and everything. So, that's the reason why they tell you, so your cochlears won't rupture. But like I said before, everybody trigger is sensitive to salt. I have a friend of mine she's had Meniere for, 25, 26 years. Salt doesn't affect her. It's not one of her triggers. Okay? Salt never affected me up till about 6 months ago when I used some soy sauce and I put it on my rice. I used a tablespoon of soy sauce. And you realize it was 1,000 milligrams. And yeah, I was in an attack for almost 2.5 days because of it. And then the week after, my son made a pork fried rice with soy sauce. And I had an attack about an hour after that. So, yeah, I wasn't necessarily sensitive to that, but now I am. So to tell people that, the doctors only tell you to limit your sodium so they can make more money from you. Come on. Sodium builds up fluid in your body, not just water, fluid in your cochlear. Ruptures, boom, there's vertigo. So they're not doing it to make money. Okay? And I know some people think that, but it's not the truth. Okay? Even for your body in general, blood pressure, diabetes, whatever, low sodium is a good way to be. Now, I've always been on a low sodium diet anyways because of my blood pressure and diabetes. So that's why salt really never bothered me, or I never thought it did until I had the soy sauce. So, and the other thing that was a trigger of mine is Domino's pizza. Don't know why with Domino's, but Domino's pizza. Anytime I had Domino's, I was sick for days with vertigo and vomiting and whatever. But, yeah, you kind of got to watch what you say in comments because you can't tell people salt's not a trigger when it is. And you know what? I Googled it just to double check my head. And, yeah, every research, everything I saw said low sodium diet. Okay? So, even though we all have the same vestibular issues, whether it's Meniere's, vestibular migraines, whatever, it doesn't mean we're affected by everything. Now, this gentleman probably isn't salt sensitive. Some of us aren't. But to tell people doctors say it to make money and it's a joke, it's not. And that's why I'm making this video. It's not a joke. Okay? It's not. Now, I mean, he did post nice. He did post something that was cool though. But he wrote people what he does do. You know, he does some Chinese herbs, not the Dr. Dingleballs. Okay, and he doesn't sell Dr. Dingleball shit. But not Dr. Dingleballs, but some Chinese herbs and stuff, which is fine. I think there was another thing he said something. I can't think of it. It starts with a G. Oh well, it'll come to me. But he was talking about vitamin B and then vitamin D, which I take to help. And that was all good advice. I thought it was great that he actually mentioned that in the comments. But the other thing that wasn't great, don't tell people doctors do things to make money. Some doctors probably do. Okay? Most doctors don't. If a doctor wanted to make money off you, instead of telling you to do a low-salt diet, he'd tell you, hey, let me do a lambectomy. Let me do a VNS surgery. Let me put a drain in there. Let me do the decompression surgery. That's where they're making their money. They're not making their money by telling you low salt, so you have to go back and visit them. You should go back and visit your doctor every 6 months or 3 months or whenever they tell you to. But remember something, you have to advocate for yourself a lot of times. But, and sometimes we probably do know more about Meniere's than some doctors. But most otolaryngologists, neurootologists, they know more about Meniere's than we ever will. Okay? So, yeah, take your doctor's stuff and advice into it. Listen to your doctors. If something isn't working for you, call your doctor back. Say, hey, this isn't working for me. And see what they do. And they'll try something else. But believe me, when the doctor says it's low sodium, they're not telling you that to make money or do anything like that. Okay? So I don't want to give doctors a bad name because there's a lot of good ones out there. And if you are looking for a doctor, you can go to vestibular.org, Vita, and there's a whole thing on that website. They could point you to a good doctor and everything else. So on that note, summarize everything. If you're going to do a low sodium diet, I've seen people go say, oh, I'm down to 500 milligrams, 200 milligrams. That's way too low, and your body needs salt to survive. You want to stay around 1,000 to 1,500, maybe 1,200 range. If you go over a little bit, it's okay. If you go under a little bit, it's okay. And just, stay away from the salt. That's all. There's a lot of things out there that, they make now that are, low sodium, no sodium, all kinds of stuff, and speaking of some triggers that the doctors will tell you to stay away from, one is coffee. Thank God it doesn't affect me, because I drink 2 cups a day. Coffee, alcohol. They'll tell you to stay away from alcohol. I don't drink, because I'm an alcoholic. I don't drink. The other thing they'll tell you to do is stay away from sugar, stay away from fats, all these things. Smoking, cigarettes, cigars, pipe. I don't know too many people who smoke a pipe these days. Because you're getting a double whammy with the cigarettes. You're getting filled up from the smoke, literally, because your body's not meant to inhale smoke. It's not. You're taught to smoke. You're not meant to inhale it. So your body's doing all these defensive mechanisms to get rid of that smoke, which is causing fluid to build up in your ears. As well as the nicotine can build up fluid as well, I guess. But that's why it's the nicotine and the 400 chemicals, carcinogens, and the cigarette smoke. Because your body's still fighting to get rid of it all, and, stuff like that. Doctors will tell you to stay away from that. They'll also say, try to lessen your stress if you can. And that's hard for all of us. So, yeah. Doctors telling you to do something, they're not doing it to tell you to make money. They're doing it to try to prevent an attack. Because believe me, if they wanted to make money, they'd want to do surgery. They'd want to put a cochlear implant in you. They'd want to do all these things. That would be the first choice they would do. And I've seen those doctors too. So, on that note, hey guys, have a great week. Talk to you later, and better days are coming. Take care.